Let's look at everybody. We're connecting after so long. Let's put on our screens. Let's smile at each other. Hi, wow, look at Auntie looking so beautiful. Hi, Tutu, so good to see you. Hi, Poonam. Good, happy to be back.
Very happy to be back.
Hi, Vani, good to see you. We have to send special messages to special people to join. Unmute, unmute. Vani, unmute and speak. You're muted, Vani, you're muted.
I just underwent a surgery,
Okay,
and today is the first day I've taken a shower and I'm feeling much better now.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Sujata.
That's why the silence from my end.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Divya, good to see you.
You are looking gorgeous.
Not as gorgeous and graceful as you.
No,
Hi,
no.
Timmy, good to see you. Thanks for joining through your drive.
Hi, Sujata.
Hi. Okay. Who's here? Pooja. Hi, Pooja. Good to see
Hi,
you.
Sujata. Thank you for reminding me and making me join.
Yeah, pushing, reminders. People are saying, gosh, how many messages you're sending. But there's so much happening in this week. So I'm sorry that you're being bombarded by WhatsApp messages. I'm sure by next week they'll start to settle down. So yeah, because we are having these, we started these morning talks. We had a free tarot session yesterday. Then the 4 o'clock Devi meditations through the Navratras are going on, and they're so powerful. So yeah, I know lots is happening. I'm teaching tarot on the 6th and 7th. And then I think something that we've not announced as yet is an open Reiki session for 10th Monday. So whoever are Reiki channels who want to learn, revise, most welcome. And that's an open session at my house. So we'll be sending out details for that also. So yeah, lots is happening.
There's so many offerings actually, and it's such a blessed month that we have. And the Navratras, we starting this conversation back at this time. I think it itself means that so much of energy is flowing, and we've been flowing with so many messages and requests that Didi should be back with Sunday conversations. And thank you so much for agreeing to that, Didi. And
well, my heart is always there. You don't have to make me agree. It's just that when so much is happening, I feel that sometimes the energy just gets dissipated. And of course, when I'm traveling, it's not possible. But yes, I promise that, let's just at least make ourselves available, because I know how many people have benefited from this. People come back to me and they tell me that, you spoke that line in one of your conversations, and it just stayed with me. It shifted something inside me. So even though we feel that we are really not doing anything, we are just conversing, a lot is happening when we are collectively present here, and we can't help it. The energy flows, and whatever is ready inside you to be transformed, transmuted, it just happens. It just happens so organically. So don't look at these as just simple conversations where we are doing a little gupshup. Yes, that is happening, but there's a very deeper energy that is flowing when we are all collecting together. It's like a collective wisdom. It's like a collective consciousness. Even the thoughts that you carry into these conversations is very, very important, because something is shifting inside. And a lot of times, people who are not familiar with energy or changes that happen internally may not be able to fully understand, because it's not tangible. It's not something that you can, say, hold on to, or say, okay, now this was black, now it's become white. But it's like an organic shift that is happening. The energies around in the universe right now are so powerful. I mean, I'm not an astrologer, but I know all these, retrogrades and all that is happening in the planets. It's surely affecting our energies. And so are so many other things all around us. The COVID, the 2 years of COVID that we went through, so much of transformation has happened inside. So now it's time to really assimilate it all and really bring it into your life. And that's why when Vinita mentioned this topic of, connecting to the Shakti inside, it just seemed to be a continuation of the meditations that we are doing every day through these sacred days of Navratras. Though I believe that every day is sacred, there is no one sacred day. But at this time, like I mentioned, that so many people all over the world are worshipping one form of a deity, of a goddess, of a power, of an energy, whatever you might like to call it. It just invokes or brings up that energy and makes it so approachable for all of us to connect, put our intents, manifest, whatever it is that we want to sort of start creating for ourselves. We start to feel a different kind of a power coming within us. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today. Sorry, Vinita, I just took over from you.
No, no, not at all. You're rightly saying, so it is a continuation of the Navratras or the practices that we observe during the 9 days, and it's invoking the Shakti in you. So since Dee has been doing these sessions, and we've been getting a lot of questions and messages also on is that Shakti power only a women centric? What is it? Is it a balance between a yin and a yang that we actually have been talking about? Is it present in only women are more prone to this, or men? So that's also been, and also spiritualism versus religion. Is it religious? So we've been getting so many different kind of messages. So idea was to actually say that if every woman who awakens courage in herself is Durga, and every woman who awakens devotion is Parvati, and every woman who has a transformation in her is Kali. So starting from that, I would want you to tell us about that balance and the harmony that we, every human being, gender, nothing to do with that, because that's the biggest question that we've been getting. It is that only among the women or the feminine energies, and so on and so forth. So maybe if you could guide us through that, and how we can invoke, just not, as you said, one day is sacred, but every day have that transformation a bit in us for a better.
Yeah, thanks, Vinita. And very, very relevant questions, because when we look at this power, we always look at it as a feminine energy, isn't it? When we talk about Durga or Parvati or Kali. And it's also when we look at, like even during the Navratras or otherwise, when we study religious scripts, it's really the victory of good over evil. So even if it is Kali, destroying the evil, or Ravan being destroyed, or it's really shown as a male image, which is sort of depicted as being evil. Don't take me in any wrong way. And also we see that the power that really comes in a form in which it is expressed through a feminine energy, isn't it? That's what we usually see. And we also say, if we want to just take it very casually, it's like behind every successful man, there's a successful woman, whether it is the mother or the wife or the sister or the daughter. So definitely there is a power within all of us. And as I thought today morning, I don't want to make this really religious in any which way, because that's not really what my focus is. But if I relate to each one of you, each one of you, and I'm sure you've experienced what I'm going to share now, you may be feeling not very good, depressed, low, anything, like, not very full of life at some point. And suddenly you hear of something, some kind of a emergency with someone very close to you, maybe a child or a parent or a very good friend or a neighbor, anything. And suddenly something lifts up inside you, right? And you have the energy within you to go and attend to that instantly. I'm sure all of us have experienced it, right? And at that time that it is not coming from your mind. You have not thought it through, right? You don't think, okay, now I need to call the doctor, now I need to go to the hospital. Something just makes it all happen. I'm sure all of us have experienced, right? Suddenly you're not feeling good and you hear, oh, there's an accident right outside your house and your neighbor has been injured, or your child has fallen down, playing in school, and your child has fallen down. And suddenly you get the courage and you go and you do whatever is needed. There's a deep power within you that just guides you to the right place to do whatever is needed. And later on, when you reflect, you think, did you really think it through? Did you really think that now I need to do this? Now I need to do this? No. So there is a power within you that just gets awakened when you want to just drop this, this role as a person you are, and that power takes over, and you just go ahead and do what you need to do. Suddenly you'll find yourself really rebelling out of, for something which you feel so right about. You might have been holding on to it, and suddenly you feel, say, no, this is not right and I need to speak about it. And a power within you will just make you say those words. If you're thinking, you'll keep judging, but how can I say this? Will this be acceptable? He might say this, she might say this. But suddenly you feel, no, this is the right moment. And you just go and share or speak or, protest, rebel, whatever it might be. So where is that power coming from? Where is that power coming from? Obviously, there is something within you. And usually in our normal state of being, where we are usually operating from the ego mind, we stop ourselves. We stop ourselves thinking that we may be judged, we may be looked down. I may not have that kind of confidence. I'm not strong enough to pick up my child and take her or him to the hospital. I'm not confident enough to speak to the doctors. But at that time, you are not thinking from the mind. So it's really like an emergency button, right? Which is within you, which really, say, wakes up and takes you ahead into doing or acting in the right way or the right moment. And a lot of times people say, na, pata nahi iske andar kaun si devi aa gayi hai, pata nahi iske andar kaun si Shakti aa gayi hai, and she's like just, taking control of everything and brushing aside all the things that the normal conditioned way of living would be, isn't it? So that Shakti is within all of us, and we don't really need to use it in a way where it's destructive. Like we say, this energy can be used for destruction as well as for purification. And we really want to pray and connect to it in such a way that it helps to empower us in our life. And like Vinita said, not just on these few days, but all through our life. Isn't it? All through our life. And if you're in alignment with that Shakti, that wisdom, that strength within you, you will see that you will really use it, and it will align you at the right moment. It's like everything will fall in place for you to receive the guidance, the wisdom, and then just act without really thinking. Act and fruitfully, isn't it? So firstly, understand that you have that energy within you. And what is that energy? Is that energy outside? Like sometimes we say, okay, I went to the Gurdwara, I went to the temple, I sat there and I meditated, and I really feel good when I come out. Okay, that's going to a place, sitting there, connecting to a deity. And of course, there's a lot of positive energy which you absorb within you and you come back. But what happens the next morning? You're again feeling low, isn't it? Or you just go for a satsang or a discourse or a meditation and you feel very good. So we have to really, really understand now that we have to stop focusing on outside gratification. We really need to shift that focus, turn inwards, and realize and connect to the energy that we all hold within us. Isn't it? And sometimes we say, but like, I'm so low in confidence, I just cannot speak up for myself. Now that the fact that you're aware of all these things, just gather your energy. And especially when you know that what you're going to say or do is not harming anybody, is not disrespecting anybody, is not really putting anybody down, then what is it that will pull you down? There's really nothing. And why should you not speak? What confidence do you need to speak the truth? What confidence do you need to speak that, okay, I'm a female, my name is Sujata, because these are the truths. So in the same way, when you are speaking something which is feeling truthful and aligned with your energy, don't hesitate to use that power within you. Don't suppress it, don't suffocate yourself. And believe me, I don't mean at all that you need to be rebellious or angry or, revolting in any which way. And also, beyond the point, don't worry about what other people will say, whether they will judge you, whether they will think that way, because it's really not important. What is important is that you have the power to live your own life. Let's remember that at the end of the day, who is it? It is you and yourself, isn't it? Children, husband, partners, boss, friends, everybody's there. But at the end of the day, it is all about you and yourself. And that's the space you need to be connecting to all the time. Getting that energy to live totally from a space of not being in fear at all. I've taught you through so many meditations, practices, that all emotions that we feel, or when we feel disempowered, it all comes from feeling of fear, isn't it? All emotions, worry, anxiety, stress, discouragement, disappointment, anger, hate, jealousy, they all come from an underlying emotion of fear, isn't it? And the other emotions that we feel, joy, happiness, gratitude, they all come from an underlying emotion of love. So it is just about shifting from fear to love. And the moment you shift from fear to love, it is the most powerful way of being. When we say power or empower or Shakti, we do not mean something which is destructive, or we do not mean something which is outward. It is the real energy that you hold within you to carry out your life with love, living your life with love. It's not about fear, not about living in fear. Does that make sense? Because usually when we think of Shakti or we think of power, it's like a rebel or a aggressive male destructive energy, but that's not true. Living with love is living with power, empowering ourselves with love. Does it make sense? I would like you all to ask questions or say anything. Let's make it a little more interactive if possible. Does this resonate?
Certainly. But I have one question, which is also based on, somebody who had sent it yesterday to us, talking about, does the Shakti that we're talking about only present or more present in women?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. And I really don't want to make it like a very gender-based discussion, because it's how you need it. There are women who are very powerful. There are women who are, just averagely comfortable. There are women who are very low in self-esteem. And the same goes for men or any other, gender. It doesn't matter. But yes, I feel somehow, this is just my experience, I have not studied on this, that somehow when it is time to act, a lot of times women come forward and act, and it is shown more because in the usual way of being, women don't come forward so openly, unless it's a crisis. That was how it was. Now I think it is very different, because for a long time it's been like a patriarchal society, it's been like a male dominated society. But today I feel lots has changed, isn't it? Lots has changed. Now it's a kind of an equal thing. So in a lot of homes we see that those changes, that just men are looking after their house husbands, as they say, which is very respectful. There's nothing to look down upon, and the women are playing the role of the so-called provider in terms of the financial. It's all fine. So I don't really believe that that comes across more strongly, because like I said, in the usual way of being, women have not been seen to take the lead. But now it is totally different. And when we pray to the goddess, when we pray like this, it's all about invoking and reaching out to a higher power. And that also comes when we read the scriptures. It's also because we say that even men, so-called, have taken birth from women. So the mother, the person who has actually sort of created those men is also a woman. So maybe that way, if I could answer it, but I don't really feel any strength in this. It's not necessary that it is only women.
Yeah,
right?
across genders, maybe, of course.
Yeah,
It's just a form metaphor that has been used.
I don't really believe that. But yes, this is definitely there, that when there is a crisis, a lot of times men crack down, and it is the women who take the step forward and, deal with the crisis. I'm sure we've all seen it in our homes and in a lot of times. And especially now, it's not like if the head of the family, a so-called male, is not around, that the family cannot run. Otherwise, it used to just be that, okay, now it's only downfall. Now I think women, whether it is the wife, or whether it is the child or the daughter or the sister or the mother, they just take over, and that's just fine. It's breaking through conditioning. Manjula here had a question. I can't read it. If one of you can read it, and then I'll speak to Srishti and Tanvi. Manjula, will you ask your question, or will you just read it out?
Auntie,
Yeah.
we can ask on behalf of Manjula Auntie.
Yeah.
So her question says, does love mean sacrifice? Mostly love is related to sacrifice, and so people ignore their power or Shakti in name of love because they give more importance to sacrifice.
So I wouldn't say sacrifice in a exploiting or a victimized way, but sacrifice from a way of say empowerment. Sacrifice, surrender can be very, very empowering, isn't it? It can be very, very empowering also. Manjula, why don't you just expand a little bit on your question?
Yeah, so I mean, good morning to everyone.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check because as we say, everyone is powerful, every lady is powerful, but it's just that because they feel, I mean, it could be from olden times how the generation have been brought up that ladies means full of love and it's full of sacrifice. So they tend to, even if they're powerful, they want to come up and they want to fight for their rights or for their family. They just think, okay, I have to give up because I'm a lady. I have to love means I have to sacrifice. So they are ready to go through everything, all the, the abuses or whatever. They don't want to become that Shakti. So when we pray goddess as Shakti and all that. Everyone has a Shakti in them, but in the name of so-called sacrifice or love, because they mean love means even self-love is love, after all. So you don't have to sacrifice everything in the name of love for someone else. You can love yourself also and bring up that Shakti in you. And true love, if you love yourself, you don't have to sacrifice for everyone. Your love encompasses everyone.
Yeah. And actually, the love that you're talking about is still at a very three-dimensional level where we are loving people around us. And just because we love them, we step back or we sacrifice. But that's not really what I mean when I say love. That's not really what I mean, because here it really means a very unconditional form of love. If you see that you're loving somebody or you're expressing things to somebody and they're not justifiably being good to you, or they're taking advantage in some way or exploiting, then definitely you need to speak up and withdraw, but again with love. With love. It's not necessary to be harsh or to be, like you said, abusive or aggressive, or to take anything which is putting you down, demeaning or humiliating. You don't have to sacrifice your self-respect, and that's why a lot of times women don't have self-respect for themselves. They don't have self-esteem, self-confidence is low because they've always been suppressed or put down, and thinking that I love this person so much and I should not speak against this, or from the fear that I might be kicked out of this person's life, they take all this in the form of an exploitation. But I don't think that is really the meaning of love. That is a very conditional form of love where I say I want to be in this person's life, so no matter what he or she may be giving me, I continue to be here.
Yeah.
Right?
So
But when you
by
come into
expressing your thing, expressing your thoughts, that's also Shakti, right?
Come again.
By expressing yourself, speaking up for yourself is also invoking Shakti within you.
Absolutely, it is. It takes you courage, isn't it? If you just see it at the basic level, it takes you courage to speak up for yourself. But if you speak from a space of love and you speak from a space of respect for yourself, it'll be heard. And even if it is not heard, it will give you a sense of confidence or respect or self-esteem that, I too exist. Because if we are wanting people to look at us and say that, look at me, I too exist, I don't have to be a very powerful person in terms of a personality to be looked at. It might be a very normal, ordinary, doing things that I'm doing in a very ordinary way, and yet be looked at. So if I want people to look at me in that way or to respect me in that way, first I have to respect myself. I remember sometime back when we used to do our Reiki seminars and meet women, they used to say, no, I'm not working. I'm just a housewife. But do we realize how much goes into being a housewife? We've never respected. Housewives were so-called never respected because it was just doing the mundane thing and not getting a pay packet at the end of the month. Isn't it? But if that housewife for one day is out of the house is in a turmoil. It's like an earthquake, isn't it? Or if the housewife decides to go on a holiday for 3 days with her friends, it's like, who's going to cook? Who's going to do everything that is, or even supervise or even allocate? So we have to respect whatever we are doing. It's not about just earning money. Isn't it? Power does not come with just earning money, but just your presence, your love, and respect for yourself, and operating from that is the strength that you portray around. And as you keep growing, in your own inner strength, you don't even have to speak or do something. Just your presence is so powerful, isn't it? If you're talking about that Shakti, it's not really about revolting or all these feminists who speak up and want to protest and speak. That's fine. That's a different way where we feel that, we have to voice ourselves and we have to lead those dharnas and all that. I mean, that's a different category altogether. But just the Shakti with love and presence is what each one of us has within us. And that doesn't require us to be really having a pay packet or certificates or anything. It just comes from your presence and your trust in life, in love, in what you're living as, in acceptance, in surrender, without having to be so much in a doing space. And if we keep going down a list and saying, okay, this will happen when I do this will happen when I have a good job, or my child is successful, or I have built a new home, or certain things externally, then we're just fooling ourselves, because that one will finish and the next will start, the next will finish and the next will start. Just bring yourself with your own inner power, knowing everything is just fine the way it is, and handle those turmoils around also, those volcanoes around also, through love. Look what we did through the COVID. Most of you were on our prayer meets or on our Reiki groups, weren't you? Was there any kind of aggression? Was there any kind of, I mean, there was so much fear, but we dealt with it with love, isn't it? Just with mantras, chant, the loving energy of Reiki, the light of Reiki. And how many people benefited? Each one of us sitting here benefited, isn't it? Including me. That's the strength we need to bring in. And yes, when it is time to say something, to be aggressive, to voice yourself, or to even be angry with somebody, you can do that, but from a space of love. You can shout from a space of love. The strength of love is bigger. The Shakti of love is bigger than anything. Manjula, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I just wanted to touch that point.
Yeah, I have it in my mind that before we end, I'm going to take you through just a 5-10 minute meditation, connecting to yourself, and then seeing what is the problem from this space. Do you not have the power when you're just in a space of melting in love? Do you not have the power? You have the maximum power then. But if it is love from just a very personal point, or the power from just a very personal point, the power to do something, to fight, to win, to accomplish, that's coming from the ego mind. But if I come from my heart and I just know that it's fine, I mean, I win, it's fine. I so-called lose, it's still fine. I don't have to analyze everything based on a record or on a, on a list of how many stars or how many badges I have on my shoulder. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Srishti, Tanvi, whoever wishes to speak.
Hi, Auntie. So I would want to ask this question, Auntie. Sometimes, when you're talking to somebody and you feel that you are right and you have the confidence also, but when you speak it out to the other person still puts you down and then you lose the confidence. So, Auntie, what to do in that case?
Okay. Very good. Very good. I'm happy you're asking this. Now you listen to your own words. You listen to your own words. You know you are right, isn't it?
Right, Auntie.
Where if you know you are right and the other person is only speaking from the point that he or she is proven right, right? And you are operating from the point where you know you are right, but you also want to be proven right. You want the other person to say that you are right. That's the fight. The fight is not about what you're thinking. How can anybody put you down? Nobody can put you down till you don't feel put down. You're only being put down not because of what you're speaking. You are feeling put down because the other person is not agreeing to what you feel is right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If the other person said, yeah, you're right, Tanvi, what you said is right, immediately you will feel empowered. If the other person says, no, you're wrong, you'll say, yeah, I'm wrong. That's your parameter, nothing to do with the other person. And at that time, if we just drop the need to be proven right, drop the need for the other person to agree to you, just say, okay, we agree to disagree. That's fine. You like black. That's fine. I like white. That's fine. It's okay. We don't have to be in a gray area. You stick to what you feel. I feel more power living in this way with love. You don't have to agree to me. If you wish to be in a space living with fear, so be it. I can only show you love. But believe me, if you keep operating and being, coming from a space of real love and drop that ego, which is feeling humiliated and put down, then it will not bother you. In fact, you'll pray from your heart. I wish that the other person also comes from a space of love and is able to see this love, isn't it? Yes. Which part of you feels humiliated and put down? Your ego, isn't it?
Right,
Who feels humiliated? So if your ego, if you just put that aside and say, okay, now this person who's full of only anger or frustration or hatred, what will he or she give you? They will only give you hatred. No? If my cup is full of coffee and I want to drink tea from this, I cannot get it. It's as simple as that. I have coffee in this, I can only get coffee. If I want tea, then I have to fill this with tea. So if I'm full of anger and hatred, what can I give you? Can I give you love?
No.
It'll only be hatred that I can give you, isn't it? So if I am full of love and the other person is pushing me down with hatred, I am more empowered and I will just not want to fight. But if my ego comes in and says, no, I am right, you are wrong, and the other person is just, going on showering you with negativity and with anger and hatred, you don't have to feel defeated. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't have to feel defeated and say that, yeah, he's putting or she's putting so much anger and putting me down because he's going on pointing fingers and saying, you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong. Or, she's going on dictating me that you don't do your work correctly, whatever the situation might be, professionally or personally. You don't have to feel put down. Best is just to be silent and step back. Yes, I know it hurts a lot. I know it pains a lot. I know you feel misunderstood, isn't it?
Right,
But then all your energy is trying to make the other person understand that, see, this is black, but the other person does not know. They are only seeing it as white. So it's like, banging your head on a wall. Why would you do that? And also, I remember, I'm just sharing something that I remember when I was on a spiritual path, when I started, I used to keep asking my teacher that, why can't I understand this? Why is there this? There was so many whys in my head. And it was my mind that wanted to understand, but your heart knows more than your mind, isn't it? And I know you all understand this.
yes.
So the mind is wanting to understand. The ego mind is feeling humiliated. If you understand that what I'm speaking is like I'm asking a 5-year-old to understand algebra, he will not understand, isn't it?
Right, Auntie, absolutely.
Understand? So why? And I'm not putting the child down. I'm not putting anybody, whether it is a parent or a partner or a friend or a boss, I'm not putting them down. I just respect them from where they are. If they wish to continue living from a space of anger or hatred or whatever, God bless them and let them be where they are. And I don't mean it in any arrogant way. But I know that living from love is is how I want to live. So I step back. And believe me, if you continue to live in that space of love, it is so infectious. It is so seductive that one doesn't want to move out of it. And it will radiate. It cannot be held within. It will radiate. And you may find like, okay, that's why I say, do the forgiveness prayer for yourself, for the other person. Say that. And just to ease out the situation. And in the end, you will see that if we really want to see, it is the love that will win. It's not about who says it or what they say. It's just what is happening at that moment. And again, I'm repeating, the putting down or the humiliation is only because at that moment, the other person is not agreeing to you.
Sujata, can I just intervene?
Yeah. Anything they want to say, then I'll take you, Pooja. Yes, Srishti, Tanvi, anything you want to say?
Yes, Auntie, that's all. Thank you.
all,
Thank you so
exactly,
much, Auntie. Now understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Pooja, go ahead.
Sujata, to the point what you were discussing right now, that yes, you feel the hurt because you are proven wrong, but sometimes the other person makes you feel that 2 plus 2 is 4. It cannot be 5. So you cannot say that what you are saying is right and you are right. The other person says 2 plus 2 is 4. It cannot be 5. So this proves that you are wrong and the other person is right.
Well, if you believe that, that's also fine.
I don't believe it. I don't
believe it. Then stick to what you would. It is just a matter of agreeing to disagree. And how can anybody put you down till you don't put yourself down? Let's understand that. Nobody can make you angry. Nobody can make you hurt. Nobody can humiliate you till a part of you believes in that hurt or that humiliation or the statement that the other person is saying. I also say, like I used to tell a lot of times, even my own children, I used to say that, okay, maybe I don't understand your point of view, and I don't have to agree to what you're saying, but maybe I'm not understanding it at this point. So let's just leave it at that. Why is it that we have to all be on one side of the fence? You be there, I be here. We can coexist very peacefully. But if the other person is so hell-bound that you first say yes to me, then that's just from an ego space. And if you are doing that, then you are coming from an ego space. So you say, okay, I respect what you're saying. I may not agree to it, but if you feel more happy in that, so be it. Fine. What is there? What is so big in it? You may find 2 days later that yes, what he or she was saying is right. Or they may find, but it's not so important. Is it really so important in life? Is it really so important
At
to
that
be
point of time, you are made like that, that you have, yeah, so we were right and you are wrong. You know, that
It's
situation
okay.
comes in.
It's fine. That's
It's
the
okay.
speaking, but it's fine. So what? You lose so many times, you fall so many times in life. And if you believe it, say, yeah, sorry, I couldn't understand at that point. Today I see the point. What is so big in it? Is it so important? I mean, now, 2 years after the COVID, and I keep repeating it because I really feel so powerfully that we have really, all of us, seen misery, suffering, death right in front of us. I don't think there was anybody who didn't go through fear to the to the maximum at that time. Now what is so important for us in life? What is really so important? To be proven right, or just to be peaceful and say it's okay, it's fine. If you just make me happy, please be happy. And I say it from my heart, not from my ego. It's okay. I step down. It's okay. It's not failure. It's not sacrifice in the way of losing. Why do we think of surrender and sacrifice as losing? You know how difficult it is to surrender. But it is not losing. You have to have so much of strength to surrender.
True, true.
Isn't it? So don't look at it and always check your statements. I heard whoever spoke today, whether it was Manjula, Srishti, Tanvi, Pooja, and I'm saying this for all of us. Check your sentences. Are you putting a blame on somebody outside, whoever it may be? They put me down. They humiliate me. If your focus is outward directed, stop, reflect. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that till a part of you agrees to that. So stop blaming, stop feeling victimized, stop feeling helpless that they are doing it. Always remember, if you are pointing your finger to they, there are 3 fingers pointing back to you. So instantly stop. These things are not just things that we are told as children that, ek ungli udhar ho rahi hai to teen apni taraf ho rahi hai. It really means something. Go within, reflect within. You will not get your solutions from focusing outside. You will not get your solutions from focusing outside. Shift your focus. Say, what is it that is making me feel so low? Okay, it might be the past, it might be my childhood, it might have been some kind of an abuse in childhood, something from the past life. It's all okay, but I have a higher awareness of love within me. Do I want to still hang on to those stories of what happened 10 years back or 10 lifetimes back? Stop now. How much clearing, how much healing, how much regression, how much that can we keep going into digging those graves? You'll go on. Stop now. Just come into that empowered state of love and just know that you have that Shakti of love within you. For me, strength is love. And for each one of you, believe me, what you can crack with love, you can never crack with any other anger, hate, or powerful emotion, aggressive emotion, as we see.
True.
So we have to invoke that love within us. That is what I want to speak about, or want to share with you today. And the only point, the who suffers from those things of humiliation, all that is only the ego, which is also grown from the space of love. So the moment you settle down and you say, okay, and it's okay, say, theek hai, aap sahi ho, it's fine. I mean, I don't agree, but your ego has to be softened to say that, isn't it? At that moment. True. But just, you don't have to feel that I'm disrespecting. Again, what is your priority? If there's an argument and your priority at that point is to just have peace in the house, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I be proven right or he or she be proven right. Let's just get into a space of peace. And tomorrow, day after, when the other person is, say, open to listening with love, express your point. And it still may be that you are wrong. There's no right or wrong, really. It still may be that you're not able to see that point of view. If there's a number like 69, I'm seeing it from here. For मुझे 6 पहले दिख रहा है, 9 उल्टा दिख रहा है, उसको वो वाला पहले दिख रहा है, 6 उल्टा दिख रहा है. It can happen that way also, no? It's each one's perspective, isn't it? If I tell you, okay, we are all looking here on the screen, what do you see? Everybody will see different things. Okay, if I say, okay, I see the Krishna on Rajni Auntie's screen, somebody might say I see Manjula's screen, somebody might say I see Vinita. So everybody is right in their own ways, isn't it? at this moment you can't see, but there may be some value in that also. So don't try to fight to be proven right. If you drop this need to be proven right, you will only be living with love.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mithali, can you ask your question? Otherwise, I'll have to read it.
Sure, ma'am. Just wanted to ask how to help younger females, children who are close to teenage years or 10, 11, to kind of develop this sense of coming from a place of love and not fear, because we live in a world where there's just, as so much fear around us. So any tips on how to inculcate that at that age when they're so impressionable?
Okay, so I understand, and I understand the sensitivity of that age, in children and young girls. And why only girls? I feel it's more important to inculcate it in boys as much as in girls. So
Absolutely,
the best way that you can do that, Mithali, is really by yourself being in that space of love. If you look up to parents, if you are feeling fear and you're telling your child not to feel the fear, your body language speaks more than your words. Right? But if you tell your child that it's okay to say sorry, and you also say that sorry to the child and say, it's normal. I mean, I made a mistake, I say sorry. You made a mistake, you say sorry, because it's not about I'm the parent or I'm the elder, have to be right. No, we learn a lot from our children. So by carrying that energy, by carrying that presence, by being that presence, I think that is the best way to teach young children. And even if they're wrong, we don't have to shout, we don't have to be aggressive. We can handle it with a lot of love and yet be heard. I remember that when children are small, a lot of times you keep telling them, don't do this, don't do this. And the child is just oblivious, just not listening to anything that you're saying, and you keep saying, mat karo, I've told you so many times, you shouldn't be doing this, don't do it. And then suddenly some energy comes into you and say, I've told you 10 times and I'm not going to tell you again, you will not do this. And just in that tone of your voice, which is stern, but confirmed. I mean, you don't mean any nonsense. The child will hear, isn't it?
Right.
And you're not going to be speaking from a very aggressive way. You can say this in a very gentle way, that enough, I'm not going to take this anymore because this is not the done thing to do. And you will see that the child will hear, because the child hears how sure you are in what you have said. Isn't it? That it's not that you're just casually telling the child, ye mat karo, wo mat karo. They feel, the mothers are only taking us off on these things. So no. But so if you are very sure of living with that love within you, then you will see that children will learn that it's not that by anger you can win. Even with love, or even dealing with things gently, you can live. By how we handle our staff, by how we speak to people who meet us on the road, by even if somebody is making a mistake on the road, either we're shouting out to that person or we're just slowing down the car and just stopping, and the person will acknowledge that yes, he or she made a mistake, rather than getting aggressive and fighting when the other person will also get aggressive, and it's like a ping pong table tennis match, one thing from here, one thing from the other. So if you just stop and you acknowledge, you will see that the other person will also stop and acknowledge, because you're not coming from an ego space. And it's not about showing the other person that he was wrong. Do they learn? So many times we see these road rage things on the road, and you may be absolutely going right, but you feel, I need to teach this person a lesson, so I'll quickly overtake and I'll blow my horn, or I'll do something from here or there. Do you think that person will really learn that way? He'll get more aggressive, she'll get more aggressive, and next time again they'll do this. So it's only your ego that wants to overtake at that time and release your anger through that aggression. But if you just gently say, okay, I mean, instead of saying anything, just bless that person, that may God give them the wisdom to drive in the right lane or whatever, and just move on. It's sending out a blessing, rather than saying that no, they need to be taught a lesson. Who are you to teach them a lesson?
So
isn't
true.
it? You move you be in your lane, and that's fine. If they need to, I mean, they'll be penalized in the way that they need to. That's their destiny and their journey. So let's not become preachers and teachers and God in that way. Let's just also live from a space and be fluid and open to looking at things that, yes, I'm not that because I'm a parent, I have to be right all the time. Or because I'm a boss, I have to be right all the time. So teach your children that it's okay to, firstly, it's okay to express all your emotions. It's very important to teach children, and that's why I love working with young children, that it's okay to feel sad, grief, hurt, upset, everything. We've always suppressed them, isn't it? We always suppress them. So when you teach them that all these emotions are just a form of energy moving in your body, whether it is anger or whether it is joy, it's something which you're feeling right now, and you have full right to express it, deal with it, and move on, rather than either suppressing it or getting volatile with it. Right? And also tell them that, like when we speak about love, we don't now just make everything that is happening in your life and in your home very, very unconditional and universal. Okay, of course you have to have discipline as parents, you have to have certain rules, that's fine. But if you enforce them in a way with love, you will see the difference versus coming from a space of very strict disciplinary and acting in that way. Then the children become angry. They may do it, but they become angry from inside. But if they are given a platform to express their emotions and see how good one feels expressing and doing everything with love, who doesn't like to live with love? Tell me one person who doesn't want love. Each one of us, when we meet, we want to hug each other, we want to receive that love, we want to give that love, isn't it? So if we return to living with love, it's just make love a part of everything, and an unconditional love. Not just because she's my daughter or he's my son, that I'm giving him unconditional love, but asking to open your heart in such a way where you can really engulf everybody in that love. Then the way to live becomes very easy. And then, like also at the same point, don't fill it in them that there is so much fear outside. Because as parents, even as children, when children are small, we tell them, oh, the policeman is coming, or the fire, something is coming which is going to take you if you don't follow that. Like that, really filling fear. The child doesn't know fear. We teach the child to be fearful, So if we tell them that fear is nothing that you need to be living with, and yet be vigilant with the world outside, of course we have to make them vigilant and not just be fluid and lucid, just living with love. You have to be vigilant also where to draw your boundaries, how to draw those healthy boundaries, whether it is with your own personal friends or with people outside. That will really inculcate a whole different way of being and living.
True.
And so yes, it's important to teach them that they have to be vigilant, but it's not that you have to tell them, oh, the world outside is there to get you, so be careful, don't do this, don't do that. No, just say that, okay, so build healthy boundaries. When you feel a sense of discomfort, withdraw. You don't need to go overboard. So explain these things in a very gentle way, and you will see that they will understand. And most of all, yourself live with that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That was amazing. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anyone else has anything to say? Ask. Should we do a little meditation?
Yes.
Just connect with ourselves. And really this meditation, I've done it once or twice before through the COVID also, but this is something which is really bringing us into the present moment. And then from that space, like I say this, right now, each one of us, if we are asked to say what are the problems in your life, you can write a whole notebook on it, isn't it? Right? But right now we are here, we are doing this talk. Tell me, is there any problem? Is there any problem? It's either something that happened in the past, which is making you feel fearful, or something that may happen, which has no base. It's just a construct of your mind that it could happen. That's where the fear is. But if you just come into this so-called neutral I am space, there's absolutely nothing, isn't it? Okay, so let's settle in our spaces. And today we have, the 7th day of Navratras at from 4 to 4:40. We finish exactly in 30-40 minutes. Those of you who were not able to join in the weekdays, do join in, because they are very, very powerful. And today actually it is Kal Ratri, the destructive form of Durga. Okay, let's settle down. Let's make ourselves extremely comfortable. Just sit whichever way you're sitting, lying down. Just be fully present here. Let's fully arrive here. What is the way of fully arriving? One of the simplest ways is to connect to your breath. Connect to Mother Earth. And just tell yourself, if there is anything that is troubling me and I see that thought and I know that it is a thought of the past or of the future, I'm not going to engage in it. And really, if you're able to grasp this, life will become so beautiful. So connect to your breath, feeling the in-breath and the out-breath. I may sound repetitive, but just know that this breath is your biggest supporter. You know that the moment you stop breathing, you stop existing. So let's acknowledge this breath. Let's be in gratitude to this breath. Feel the breath as it moves in and out at the tip of your nostrils. And then gently close your eyes. Do everything that you're doing with awareness. See how your hands are. See what your posture is. Feel the eyelids closing, the upper eyelid gently falling on the lower. See the breath moving in and out of your body. Feel the earth below your feet or below your hips or on your spine. Be aware of your posture. And then just tell yourself these words. I am, I exist. I am, I exist. Silently repeat to yourself these words. If somebody would ask you, do you exist? You would say, obviously I exist. Nobody taught you this. And when you say I am, just allow yourself to feel these words. The knowing that you are, the feeling that you exist. And just allow yourself to fall into this space of amness, this space of presence, this space of being. Just coming into this presence, this knowing that you are. And then just notice in this existence, in this presence, in this being, breathing is happening on its own. All your senses are working. You can hear, you can smell, you can feel. You can feel your body. You can feel the weight of your body. Just become aware of your presence, of your posture, the way you're sitting. I am, I exist. Thoughts may come, but just for this short while, let us not engage in those thoughts. Let us not engage in any thoughts. Don't engage with any thoughts means if the thought comes, just gently watch it and let it move on. Another one will come, just do the same with it. Don't follow any thought. Don't dialogue with any thought. Notice that these thoughts are arising in a space. Allow yourself to rest gently in this space. Just notice a few things about the space. See whether it seems big or small. See whether it has a beginning or an ending. Where does it begin? Where does it end? Did it come from somewhere? Is it going anywhere? Just allow yourself to fall deeper and deeper into the space of awareness, where nothing of the past or the future is entertained. You have no name, you have no gender, you have no role as a mother, a wife, a daughter, a son, a husband. There are no expectations, no perceptions, no memory. Drop anything of the past or the future. And when you drop all these things, gently notice, gently confirm what remains. Does it take you an effort to be here? Did it take you any effort to reach this space or remain in this space as the space? Confirm to yourself that you exist without all the things that you normally identify yourself with. Notice that this space neither begins nor ends. Just notice its vastness, its endlessness. And just allow yourself to rest in the space, rest deeply in this space, witnessing everything that is going on without any need to do anything about anything. Notice that thoughts are very distant and they are passing. Notice that nothing can really touch you in the space. Notice that there is no you in the space. There is only space. Just rest deeply in the space as the space. The space in which everything manifests. This space is home. This space is the real you. This space that needs no fixing, no healing, no completion, no being in charge. Here, there are no judgments, no expectations, no perceptions, no memories, no past, no future, no birth, no death, no you, no me. Just recognize the space. You didn't find the space, so you can't lose it. Just rest here as long as you need to, as the space. Remember that it's not somewhere you have to reach to, somewhere you have to do something to get to. It is you. Its primary comes before everything else. Knowing this, confirming this, with full awareness in your own time, whenever you feel ready, Slowly and gently. Wriggle your toes, stretch your fingers. Reconnect to the breath that was flowing all through, even without your awareness. You didn't make an effort to hear my words, but you were hearing my words. You didn't make an effort to feel this bliss, but you are this bliss. So connect to the breath, bring your awareness back to it. And slowly, in your own time, in your own pace, whenever you feel like, you may open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.